podcast is sponsored by Renewal by Andersen of Central Pennsylvania. You can now get $400 off every window and $800 off every entry and patio door from now until the end of August. That's $0 down, 0 payments, and 0% interest for a year and a half. Call 717-727-7558 or visit rbacentralpa.com/deals to get more information. Remember, deal ends August 31st. Pennsylvania is officially free of bird flu. In Beaver County, some kids had to go virtual during their third day of school because of the bus driver shortage. State-owned schools are offering Google Career Certificates, and all's fair in love and war, but not football. I'm Claudia Dimuro, and you're listening to Today in a PA. Pennsylvania has been designated as free of avian influenza, aka the bird flu, reports PennLive. Governor Josh Shapiro, together with the State Department of Agriculture, announced this designation yesterday after more than a year of outbreak. 31 commercial flocks were affected during that time, as well as 36 backyard flocks, making for a total loss of over 4.6 million domestic birds. The state will still remain under a general quarantine for protective measures. The department, too, will still continue with testing and monitoring. Almost a dozen kids in Beaver County had to attend their third day of school this week virtually, reports Pittsburgh's Action News 4. Central Valley School District Superintendent Nicholas Perry explained one of the bus companies used by the district informed them on Tuesday that they couldn't perform 2 runs on the schedule due to a lack of drivers. The district then informed parents asking if they could bring the kids in themselves. If not, arrangements were made for remote learning. Perry went on to state how the district actually hired 2 companies for this year after the previous one went out of business as a way to try to avoid this kind of situation from happening. Todd O'Shell, vice president of the company concerned, ABC Transit, said via statement that the lack of drivers this week was mostly from not having enough time to find drivers to fill each route between the short period between their contract approval and the start of school. Says Perry, quote, "I know this is a huge inconvenience, but it's going to be a few weeks until they can iron this out. I'll do everything I can to make sure we communicate any kind of changes that come moving forward." Pennsylvania state-owned universities are now offering students Google Career Certificates, states the Tribune Review. These certificates, born of a partnership between Google and the state system of higher education, are part of an online program that trains those who participate in fields like cybersecurity, data analytics, and IT support. With it, officials in Google alike are hoping that people become better prepared for high-demand jobs. It doesn't cost students anything this year, and the goal, says state system spokesman Kevin Hensel, is to keep it that way, or to have it come at little cost in the future. The program's not limited to just students either. People who aren't enrolled in a school may also be eligible. Says Governor Shapiro, quote, "It's time for a blueprint for higher education focused on competitiveness and workforce development, one that is grounded in access and affordability." All's fair in love and war, starts PennLive, but apparently not football. The Grueling Truth, a sports podcast, took a survey of NFL fans to see how much the sport plays into their love life. Turns out, a lot. 1 in 10 people admitted someone rooting for an opposing team would be a deal breaker for them. Another 1 in 3 said they'd rather spend a night out with their sports hero than their significant other, which I hope would be a deal breaker for the significant other. And as far as individual franchises go, for Pennsylvania's teams, 35% of Steelers fans find it important that their partner supports the team too. Eagles fans are a little more lenient, with just 21% feeling the same way. The most intense in this regard were Cardinals fans, as 67% make this a requirement in romance. If you're single, maybe date a Saints fan. 0% of them seem to care. That wraps up today's episode. I would just like to apologize for a mistake I made in yesterday's episode about the blue moon. Listener Eric Dubs let me know that blue moons don't actually appear as blue, but are instead just any second full moon in the month. As for where the blue comes from, no one seems to really know. I again apologize. I realized the source I used a source that wasn't exactly credible. And with that, I'm Claudia Dimuro. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you for Friday's episode of Today in a PA.
This
podcast is sponsored by Renewal by Andersen of Central Pennsylvania. You can now get $400 off every window and $800 off every entry and patio door from now until the end of August. That's $0 down, 0 payments, and 0% interest for a year and a half. Call 717-727-7558 or visit rbacentralpa.com/deals to get more information. Remember, deal ends August 31st.